Okay, fifth graders, good morning. It's mini lesson 8, Thinking Across Poems. Readers of poetry understand that themes bridge across texts. We will compare and contrast two poems with a similar theme. Readers of poetry understand that a poem's theme helps uncover what the author is really saying. When we examine themes that are present in multiple poems, our understanding of those themes and the poems deepens. Today, we are going to examine two poems that share the same theme. Yesterday, we examined possible themes for a single poem. Today, we'll take that work a step further and compare and contrast two poems that are connected by the same theme. The first poem we will read is Photographs from the book Locomotion by Jacqueline Woodson. The second poem is Circles by Myra Cohn Livingston from the book The Place My Words Are Looking For by Paul B. Janechko. Our first poem is entitled Photographs. Listen as I read the poem aloud. There's two of me and Lily. We were little then, dressed up at Easter time, big smiles, me with two front teeth missing, and my head shaved Easter clean. Here's Mama and Daddy dancing. Mama's blurry foot lifted up in the air. Look how she's laughing. When I look at the picture, I can hear it. Here's the four of us. Everybody's smiling at the camera, but me, I'm looking away from it, frowning, like I see something coming that ain't good. Okay, so here's my thinking as I read this poem. In the poem, the speaker, known as Locomotion, is describing photographs taken of his sister Lily, his parents, and himself during happy times. But let's look at the last stanza that says, here's the four of us, everybody smiling at the camera, but me looking away from it, frowning, like I see something coming that ain't good. Okay, notice how Locomotion says he's looking away from the camera and frowning as if he sees something coming that ain't good. And again, I go back and I look up at the stanza before that one line stanza that says, when I look at the picture, I can hear it. There's a question in my mind. What does he hear? So from these lines, we can infer that Locomotion knew something terrible was coming. And we know that something was that a fire had killed his parents. Okay. Let's look at the next poem entitled Circles by Myra Cohn Livingston. I'm speaking of circles. The circle we made around the table, our hands brushing as we passed the potatoes, the circle we made in our potatoes to pour in gravy, whirling in its round bowl, the circle we made every evening, finding our own place at the table with its own napkin in its own ring. I am speaking of circles broken. Okay, in this poem, the speaker is talking about circles in the family. She talks about people being together at the dinner table and all of the circles that they made. But let's look at the last line. I am speaking of circles broken. At the end of the poem, she mentions circles broken. This line makes me think that there is some trouble or disagreement in the family that has damaged the circle that represents the family bond. Okay, so when we take a closer look, let's examine the connections across the two poems, Photographs and Circles. Here's my thinking. I know one way we can connect poems is through a common theme. I think that the poems are connected because they both share the theme loss. I know that in Photographs, the mother and the father were missing. I know in circles that something broke that circle, whether it's death or a disagreement or whatever it is, it's still a loss. Another way we can connect poems is to consider how they are similar and different. We can record these observations on a graphic organizer like a Venn diagram. In our anchor chart, comparing poems with a common theme. You know how the Venn diagram has the overlap. Those are the items that both poems share. And what's unique to each poem, you would put in the outer circle. Okay, so as we wrap it up, as readers of poetry, we can look at connections across poems. One way that we can connect poems is through a common theme. Then we can consider how they are similar and different. By making these kinds of connections, we start to build a deeper understanding of both the theme and the ideas of the poem. So now it's your turn. Together, we identified a shared theme of loss in the poems Photographs and Circles. Now, your part will be to consider how these two poems are similar and different. You will record your observations on the graphic organizer. You will find your organizer in the Google Classroom. You will write on a shared document. When you're finished sharing your thoughts and ideas and reading other people's thoughts and ideas, and you've completed the task that you have assigned for you for the day, please turn in your assignment. Okay, we'll continue with lesson 8 tomorrow. Do good job. Thank you for your hard work.